We have the strength, we have the spirit, and we fail to acknowledge that youth must be molded. And sisi wenyewe to reach out to each other. Hakuna venye itawaka. And Ukikao has come through for us in such a big way. I think the CEO of Kenya. So some of these things we have to acknowledge them, and we have to say that stories does not kill us. Sisi wenyewe. I always joke about the fact that we have about 80,000
national week-long activities, and wish all the youth of Kenya the best and the successful week-long activities culminating to International Youth Day, 12 August 2020. I commend the Secretary of the President for his wisdom and the foresight in appointing the 7 young Chief Administrative Secretaries serving in various ministries. This appointment and others demonstrate the President's commitment to placing young people at the core of his administration in decision-making. It demonstrates that the youth can lead, deliver results, and serve as youth mentors.
For the President, youth, as I said, are very core, and they are very key in all the things that we do. Youth span all of government, whether you go into education, whether you go into environment, as you've had, gender, public service, youth are everywhere. So we have, as a cabinet, sat and said, we have to see how we can all work together to ensure that we're giving the youth the full service that they need and incorporating them in all the decision making that we're taking. And even yesterday, the President directed that we don't open new programs, but that we consolidate the many activities that we are currently already doing, really to take care of our youth.
The issue of gender-based violence, what we are seeing because of COVID-19 pandemic, we are seeing many girls who are not now going to school because schools are closed, universities are closed. The number of girls getting pregnant has increased. So that is straight there a problem before our eyes, because when girls get pregnant and they cannot continue with their education, that is one barrier towards better quality of life. The longer girls stay in school, the better the quality of life. And I think most of us would not have been this level if we never had an opportunity to go to school. But that problem, the government is addressing it by having about 6 or 7 ministries address what are the real causes of early pregnancy. Some we are being told is because of poverty, 2 because maybe they are idle at home, 3 because we are not having commodities on sexual health, reproductive rights. So there are many kind of causes, and because these causes are not like 1 or 2, we need that kind of multi-agency, kind of consultation to make sure that girls do not drop out of school.
Formal employment is diminishing over time, and therefore youth need to change the direction from being employment seekers to employment creators.
Youth workers respond to pandemic by generating and developing new ideas and delivering support to others. This is very encouraging coming from the youth. The government and the private sector have provided diverse opportunities for the youth to take advantage and exploit for their advantage. I call upon the youth to take responsibility for their own life and destiny in today's very competitive global environment.
I want to challenge our youth that there are many opportunities provided by the new digital revolution, and they need to focus on that, opportunities in agribusiness and opportunities in other technical based areas.
I don't want to forget that we have key development partners that we work with, the United Nations, UNFPA is here represented and they've been supporting us. And there are very many other institutions that have a lot of activities to do with youth, and we want to see how we can integrate and work together with all of them.
The network established has been instrumental in disseminating information on various topics such as drugs, early marriages, teenage pregnancies, female genital mutilation, gender-based violence, crime, and violent extremists. We now know most of the youth claim to have information gap that can be solved through the digital technology.
And so I am so pleased that my colleague was willing to come and be the chief guest for this event as we launch and as we continue to engage our youth. This week is simply to get us working together. But even from last year and as we continue, we will continue to engage and work very closely with all the young people so that we can actually transform the country and make all the changes. So I have pride that my colleagues were able to come. The others may have wanted to come, but because of the COVID restrictions, we're not able to have everybody join us. But we know that we are all together in making this happen. So Professor Margaret Kopia, thank you so much for this opportunity, for coming and representing us. So the floor is now yours. Asante sana.
Ladies and gentlemen, the youth-led community conversation dubbed Ukikao that we are having today, this afternoon, is an example of a kind of co-created engagement envisaged in the Kenya Youth Development Policy. This platform has, over the past year, involved of about 4,000 youth who, in addition to sharing their stories and proposing solutions, have been sensitized on opportunities and prevailing policies. Current pandemic, as an illustration, the role of the young people have been playing in helping our world navigate the crisis cannot be overemphasized. Their engagement in crafting and communicating credible public health information enhances trust in public institutions among their peers and the younger Kenyans, which is especially useful at today's age of fake news. This year's theme for International Youth Day is Youth Engagement for Global Action. It is a call to consider the positive effect that engagement or inclusion of the youth in all spheres of life, politically, economically, socially, and culturally, and find a way of maximizing their full potential, not only locally, but also globally. Captured by the Generation Unlimited report is the antagonistic approach or stance we sometimes adopt as youth. This activism approach alienates primary stakeholders, including government, which make advocacy platform less effective in the long term. A more collaborative approach can build better relationships with among other stakeholders and deliver better results.
To join us in establishing tree nurseries for their income, for distribution to their families, for distribution to the schools. We want the youth to join us in cleaning up our rivers that most of them have been terribly contaminated. We want the youth to join us in educating the public about the importance of a clean and healthy environment. One person who was asked, why is the environment important? And the answer he gave was, if you think money is more important than environment, why don't you try counting your money while you have held your breath and see how long you would go? It tells you that you cannot ignore environment. Wangari Maathai said that you joke with environment, you destroy nature at your own peril. Even what we are experiencing now in the globe, the COVID-19 pandemic, is directly correlated with destruction of environment. What we call the zoonotic viruses, whether you're talking about Ebola, SARS, HIV, all these diseases are correlated directly. These are diseases transferred by animals, wildlife, to human beings. How do we get in contact with animals? Because we destroy their habitats. They come to our homes. Now we created markets to trade on wildlife. That's how we get all these viruses, such as the one that has now befallen the entire globe. We need the youth to utilize their numbers, build a movement. We want the youth to use their technological skills in helping us as a government and working together with them towards greening this country. As C.S. Mosheru said, we have rolled out a program. We shall be working with you in the next 1 week in ensuring that we have a massive tree planting activity across the country in every county, but also doing a cleanup of the rivers, starting with the Nairobi River and others, and build up a long-term sustainable partnership between the Ministry of Environment and Forestry and the youth movement.
What I would like to share with the youth is, even as we struggle and as the environment changes, there are some principles which stand. For example, one, define your own success and work for it. You must be able to find out what does success look like. And we run our own race because we are all diverse in many ways. Do not think of yourself as victims. Instead, as youth, realize that you have a power to control your action and get to your destiny. Two,
so what we've already done is that we want to create a single point of entry for youth into government and the many activities that we do. And so at the moment, myself and my co-chair, CS Margaret Kobia, are really putting together and bringing PSs and state departments together to ensure that for youth, if you want to be able to access the government, if you want to be able to access any of our services, you have a single point of entry. And so we will be putting that together, and throughout this week you will see that that is the case.
And sisi wenyewe to reach out to each other, hakuna venye itawaka. And Ukikao has come through for us in such a big way. I think the CEO of